Shalom, Great Millstone, coming at you with another live lesson. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who are teaching this truth and sincerity. And shout out to Yakims out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakakadash, Barakatam. So, King of Babylon is spewing out that there will never be a World War III. Well, prophecy says otherwise, as we're always occupied in prophecy. So, like everything else, you have to laugh at this babbling idiot. Babylon, babbling idiot. Makes sense, right? That's all he does is babble mouth, right? You know, Nero. So, let this brother teach and get into some articles and scriptures, just occupied in prophecy.
I was just dealing with people from the Middle East, our people and other people on the potential peace deal for the Middle East. Peace for the Middle East. It's a beautiful phrase, and we hope it's going to come true, but it's very close. And they're doing very well. We have a great team over there, great negotiators, and there are unfortunately great negotiators on the other side also.
We see things different.
But it's something I think that will happen, got a good chance of happening. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week, maybe on Sunday, actually, and we'll see. But there's a very good chance negotiations are going along very well. We're dealing with Hamas and many of the countries. As you know, we have Muslim, all of the Muslim countries are included, all of the Arab countries are included. Very rich countries and some that are not so rich, but just about everybody's included. It's never happened before. Nothing like that's happened before. And our final negotiation, as you know, is with Hamas. And it seems to be going well. So we'll let you know. If that's the case, we'll be leaving probably on Sunday, maybe Saturday, maybe a little later than Saturday evening. But
all right, got another video real quick. Let me go ahead and share this screen. Play this video and then we'll open up Shalom for the WAM. Alright, this is the main video right here.
As I said earlier, I intend to be a partner in securing a better future. We're going to be working, you're going to be working with the United States, and we're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world. It means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all, but it's not going to start in the Middle East. We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. Never be a World War III. Our work begins right here and right now. From ancient times, this region has been extraordinarily mixed with respect to people, culture, religions, all of the different elements of national characters, unlike maybe anywhere else on earth. And for 3,000 years, there's been conflict. For whatever reason, there's been tremendous conflict, always conflict. But today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish. So together, let us continue in the spirit of cooperation and goodwill that has finally brought us to this incredible, historic breakthrough. If we do, together, we will reach the Middle East's incredible destiny, a safe and prosperous and beautiful crossroads of culture and commerce, faith and humanity and geographic center. This will be the geographic center of the world. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you all for what you've done and for
the book of Psalms, chapter 49 and 11. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem Rakaf. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone. Double honors to the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Peace, infinite salutations to the elect that are scattered abroad doing this work in truth and in sincerity. Okay? And you heard this guy, Donald Trump, Nero, okay, saying that there's not going to be no World War III. All right? And this is just more talks of peace and safety. Okay, and see, Esau thinks, the so-called white man, starting with the bankers, the super elite rich Edomites, down to even these everyday Edomites, they believe that they're going to be in power forever, man. All right, but prophecy says otherwise. Prophecy says that World War III is going to happen, and it's going to happen in this generation, okay, in this life. All right, so this peace deal that's going on in the Middle East is not going to be for much longer. All right, you know, and the reason is I want to touch on something that this guy Nero said. Let me go back and let it play while I grab this scripture. Okay, there's a reason why there's been all hell breaking loose in the Middle East for thousands of years. You know, years in general. Really, 1948. You know, when the converts went in there, okay, and claimed the land theirs, which those are not the real people. Okay, they're converts. And they really go back to Amalek. Now, let me play this.
Our work begins right here and right now. From ancient times, this region has been extraordinarily mixed with respect to people, culture, religions, all of the different elements of national characters, unlike maybe anywhere else on earth. And for 3,000 years, there's been conflict. For whatever reason, there's been tremendous conflict, always.
All right, and you know, there's a conflict because the people in the land of Israel go back to Amalek, okay? And this is Exodus 17 and 16. It says, for he said, because the Lord has sworn that Yahweh will have war with Amalek from generation to generation, right? Those small hats, the Most High has declared, he's sworn that he's going to continue to have war with these people, man, these Edomites. So there's going to be no peace in the Middle East. That's the slogan that they're pushing out. Peace in the Middle East. But there is going to be no peace in the Middle East. Okay? Because World War III is going to happen, whether you believe it or not. All right? This is all just talks of peace and safety. All right? So let's go there real quick. And then I'm going to let the elders speak a little bit. This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. I'm going to start at 5 and 1. All right, 1 Thessalonians 5 and 1, it says, but of the times and of the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you, right? Because you're supposed to be occupied in prophecy, you know, watching as well as praying, watching everything that's happening on earth, you know. Prophecy is our clock. That's how we know what time we're in, right? And if you see that everything happening, you know that World War III is nearer than ever than can imagine, okay? World War III is right around the corner. The microchip is right around the corner. All this peace and safety that they talk on the media, it's all BS. It's all a script. All right? It's all lies. It's all sorcery. Right? So I'm going to say it again. This peace talk that's happening with Israel and Hamas, and that's not the end all be all. Shit is going to spark right back up. Okay? There will be World War III, and it is going to start up in the Middle East. Okay? The scriptures tell you that the least of the flock shall draw them out, going into how the Israelis are going to draw America into World War III. Right? And we already seen the beginning stages of it. All right? There's no turning back the plagues. There's no turning back the destruction that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is bringing upon this earth. All right? And it's going to end with total nuclear war. All right? And of course, Donald Trump and these Edomites, they say, oh yeah, there's never going to be war. Yeah, easy for you to say, because you know that if World War III would happen, you out of power. You out of there. All right? 1 Thessalonians 5 and 2, it says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Yeah, and see, it's gonna come to a thief to the people that are not prepared, that are not watching. This day is not gonna overtake the elect as a thief because we're watching. We have been preparing for what's about to happen on this earth, right? And contrary to popular belief, contrary to this guy Donald Trump's ideology, World War III is Bible prophecy. There's no stopping World War III. Okay, no matter what you do, no matter how much papers you sign that say peace and safety at the top of it, it's not gonna stop World War III from coming to pass. All right? Because prophecy trumps everything. Okay? The words of Yahweh Shai stand. Okay? So, and this day is going to come as a thief to the majority of the world. Okay? Verse 3, it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And that's the vibration they always push into the world. Every now and then they push this peace and safety message. But soon this peace and safety is going to turn to sudden destruction. There's going to be no remedy for the judgment that's coming, man. Okay, and Esau, you're through. All right, this so-called white man, he's out of there. Okay, he's done. There's no turning back. Prophecy. Okay. Verse 4. But you, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief, right? Because we're watching, we're children of the light. The Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, as the scriptures say, has revealed his secrets to the servants, the prophets. So we know well and clear, regardless of what these Edomites say on national television, we know damn well that World War III is coming. And there's no stopping it. Okay? There's going to be no peace in the Middle East. The Lord is going to continue to have war with Amalek from generation to generation. There's no stopping that. Okay? You are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. And that's the majority of our people. 2/3 of our people are dead asleep. Spiritually, they have no idea what's going on. But see, we, the hopeful elect members, we're awake. We're children of the light. We have the secrets. We know what's coming to this place. Okay? Let me grab this. I'm going to let the elders speak a little bit. All right, this is Revelation 11 and 14. It says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, so World War III is coming quick. There's no stopping World War III from happening. And this war is going to be fought with nuclear weapons. Okay, these ICBMs. All right, and the Lord blessed this devil with the sword, Esau. He blessed him with the technology to make these weapons, all right, to really take himself out. All right, these nuclear weapons is going to take himself out, man. All right, let me let the elders speak.
Back and forth between Iran and Israel, trying to attack each other's nuclear facilities, nuclear or military bases. All these different conflicts. The fact that you're funding and putting money into the hands of these other countries to prepare them for some type of event. Putting all these weapons in their hands, building up their defense. That doesn't seem like the actions of somebody that's trying to be peaceful, trying to establish some type of peace.
Yeah, and let's not forget that they just changed the Department of Defense to the Department of War. Okay? So these devils are in the spirit of war. And remember, let me actually go here real quick. Okay? This is Psalms. See, this is how this devil operates. He speaks smooth words, but in his mouth, in his heart, is war, man. So these are, remember, Esau is the master deceiver. He's, the devil. Okay, so they'll get on live television and speak all these lies and speak smoothly, but deep down in their heart, they're thinking about total annihilation. They're thinking about total domination of the world, man. Okay? This is Psalms 55 and 21. It says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. And that's how these so-called white people operate. Especially the elites, especially these people, these Edomites in high positions. They speak with smooth words, man. But in their mind is really war, okay? And how to conquer, right? It says the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. And this has not changed. The so-called white man continues to be like this, okay? A master deceiver to get on live television and talk about peace and safety, while also, in the same breath, stocking more nuclear weapons up, getting your military ready to take over, still funding Ukraine. And it's funny how they come up with this peace deal, right, in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas, after Gaza has already been laid desolate. All right, that place is completely desolate over there, man. It would take billions and billions of dollars to even build that place back up. All right, and they're not going to give that land back. Okay, which that land of Israel and that whole region really belongs to us. Both of those nations, the Israelis and the Arabs, they don't belong in that land anyways. That's our land. All right, and as long as the heathens are in that land, the Lord is going to continue to wage war on them, man. So you can't believe everything this devil says, man.
So that's how we know that Trump is full of shit, you know, and he's just a character. All right, and you know those people over there, they're trying to, you know, prep him up. You know, they're showering him with all these praises because he secured. I want to say this was basically theater. This whole hostage exchange, you know, the ceasefire. This was all fucking theater, man.
Yep.
All right, they're getting ready for something. They're gearing up. Now we know how these devils are. The scriptures say, when he speaketh fair, believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart. You know, you pay more attention to people's actions than their words. All right? So let me do this, because what he's suggesting and what he is saying to the public is really in opposition to what prophecy already say. Right? The scriptures say the second woe has passed, and the third comes quickly. That third woe is talking about World War III, so it's definitely going to happen. It's inevitable. All right, and now let me grab this first, because it's not up to men. All right, it's not Trump's call. It's not Putin's call. It's not BB's call. All right, this is all orchestrated by the King of the Universe, the Father of Spirits. All right, he's in control. So it's based on what he will, his purpose. Proverbs 21:1 says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. All right, so your president, you know, he's the king, right? Well, his heart, which represents his mind, is in the hand of the Lord. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. All right, so the Most High is the one who controls the will of men.
All right, and let me just get a land back for the elder. Okay, Isaiah 43. Because it's all in the hands of Yahweh Shai. Ain't no such thing as free will. You can't believe what people say. It's about their actions, like the elder was going into, and it's really all ties into prophecy at the end of the day. And we have a more sure word of prophecy. We understand prophecy. We know what's coming, whether people say it's coming or not. We don't care. We know that this is going to happen. Okay? This is Isaiah 43:13. It says, yeah, before the day was I am he. Okay, I'm going to read it again. Yeah, before the day was I am he. And there is none that can deliver out of my hand. I will work, and who shall let it? Okay, so at the end of the day, the Most High is going to put in work. The prophecy is going to be fulfilled. And who's going to be able to reverse the prophecy? Scriptures go into that in 2 Ezra 16. You can't reverse prophecy. There's no stopping Yahweh Shai's prophecy. Okay? But that just goes into the pride of Esau Edom. Okay? They got that demonic pride, thinking that nobody can take them down, and World War III isn't going to happen. They're going to be in power forever. And that's where they've been deceived. Okay?
NLT says the king's heart is like a stream of water directed by the Lord. He guides it wherever he pleases.
I'm going to read this in another version. Okay? This is the AMP, Isaiah 43:13. Even from eternity, I am he. Yeah, King of the universe, Yahweh. All right? This, at the end of the day, this is the Lord's movie. There's no altering the Lord's movie. The scripture is already written. Now everybody's just playing their role. Even if you think you're going against the will, you're still fulfilling the will of Yahweh Shai. We're talking about the King of the universe, man. There's nothing you can do outside of the will of Yahweh Shai, man. Even from eternity, I am he, and there is no one who can rescue from my hand. I act, and who can revoke or reverse it? Yeah, so when the Lord does something, there's no reversing it. When the Lord says something is going to happen, there's no stopping the will of the Heavenly Father. All right, so World War III is going to happen.
All right, so like I said, it's not their call. So the fact that he's making this statement that there won't be a World War III is just pride. They're thinking that everything's going to be secured. Hey, 1 Thessalonians. Paul stated this almost 2,000 years ago. All right, 1 Thessalonians 5. And 1, it says, now concerning how and when all this will happen, dear brothers and sisters, we don't really need to write you.
And I had just got
I was just dealing with people from the Middle East, Arab people and other people on the potential peace deal for the Middle East. Peace for the Middle East, so it's a beautiful phrase and we hope it's going to come true, but it's very close. And they're doing very well. We have a great team over there, great negotiators, and there are unfortunately great negotiators on the other side also. But it's something I think that will happen, got a good chance of happening. I may go there sometime toward the end of the week, maybe on Sunday, actually, and we'll see. But there's a very good chance that negotiations are going along very well. We're dealing with Hamas and many of the countries. As you know, we have Muslim, all of the Muslim countries are included, all of the Arab countries are included, very rich countries and some that are not so rich, but just about everybody's included. It's never happened before. Nothing like that's happened before. And our final negotiation, as you know, is with Hamas, and it seems to be going well. So we'll let you know. If that's the case, we'll be leaving probably on Sunday, maybe Saturday, maybe a little later than Saturday evening. But
all right, got another video real quick. Let me go ahead and share this screen. Okay. Play this video and then we'll open up. Shalom, shalom. All right, this is the main video right here.
As I said earlier, I intend to be a partner in securing a better future. We're going to be working, you're going to be working with the United States, and we're going to make sure that the Middle East is going to be a safe and secure place. It's a very important place in the world, means so much. There were so many people who said the Middle East, this has been going for many, many decades. I've read it many times that World War III will begin in the Middle East. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. There was a time that you would have thought it could have, but it's not going to happen. There won't be World War III, hopefully at all, but it's not going to start in the Middle East. We're not going to have a World War III if we're smart. Never be a World War III. Our work begins right here and right now. From ancient times, this region has been extraordinarily mixed with respect to people, culture, religions, all of the different elements of national characters, unlike maybe anywhere else on earth. And for 3,000 years, there's been conflict. For whatever reason, there's been tremendous conflict, always conflict. But today, for the first time anyone can remember, we have a once-in-a-lifetime chance to put the old feuds and bitter hatreds behind us. And that's why so many people in this room, they didn't get along. Some did, some didn't, but they're getting along now. This has brought the people together. This is the first time the Middle East crisis has brought people together as opposed to driving them apart. And to declare that our future will not be ruled by the fights of the generations past, which is foolish.
Reminds me of a song, "Fool if you think it's over." Yeah, man, you know, people that listen to this babbling idiot, you know, definitely live out that song. Trump threatens NATO member with sanctions. Oh, okay, so you're going to fuck off your allies some more, right? I mean, you already been fucking giving them tariffs anyways, right? So why not fuck them in the ass a little bit more, right? U.S. President previously suggested kicking Spain out of the bloc for failing to meet increased military spending requirements. Do as I say, not as I do. You got to do everything I tell you. U.S. President Trump has threatened to impose tariffs against Spain over its failure to meet NATO's increased spending requirements. Trump has been actively pushing for the spending increase while Madrid previously dismissed as impossible. Trump accused Spain of being the only nation that did not increase its military spending to 5%. I am thinking about giving them trade punishment through tariffs because of what they did. I may do that, Trump stated. So here we go, more tariffs. Here's more of that Babylon dick. Go straight up your ass. Because you took the juicy juice, now he's going to fuck you in the ass with it, right? Hey, you got to be more scared if you're allied with America than if you were direct enemies with America, right? Because direct enemies of America have Russia to back them. What do these fucking NATO countries have? Ukraine? Really? Really? Ukraine's going to protect you from Russia. You are fucked in the ass. You're going to take that dick one way or another. Because that's how Esau deals, man. He's a faggot. Another nuclear warning from Medvedev. This time is over for This time over tomahawks. Former Russian President Medvedev issued a nuclear warning in the face of reports that Washington may authorize transferring U.S. long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine. President Trump's remarks weighing in on the issue saw him veil his intentions in usually cryptic wording. A broad Air Force once traveling to West Asia earlier Monday, he said that tomahawks are a very offensive weapon, noting that honestly Russia does not need that. You know, so pretty much so, you know, imposing that, oh, well, watch out, watch out. If this war isn't going to be settled, I'm going to send them tomahawks. It's an incredible, very offensive weapon. And that's coming from Trump himself, as this is showing here. So, you know, raising up the warnings, right? Trump can't be a man of peace while provoking endless wars. And this is coming from Ergashi. Iran foreign minister rebuked Trump for his warmongering policy in West Asia, saying the U.S. president cannot claim to seek peace in the region while pursuing policies of aggression and aligning with war criminals, you know, such as Netanyahu. The Iranian minister said pro-Israeli interests were at work to feed Washington with false intelligence. It is more than clear that the President of the United States has been badly fed the fake line that Iran's peaceful nuclear program was on the verge of weaponization this spring, he said. That is simply a big lie, and he should have been informed that there is zero proof of that. Well, that's because Trump is one of them. The real bully of West Asia, Mr. President, is the same parasitic actor that has been long bullying and milking the U.S., he said in reference to the Israeli state. The Iranian diplomat condemned the U.S. for its direct involvement in airstrikes against Iran earlier this year, which killed more than 1,000 civilians, including women and children. One can hardly be branded as president of peace while provoking endless wars and aligning with war criminals. And that's just it. He has bombed at least 7 countries this year. Can you name them all? Let's see here. Let's go back. Somalia he's bombed lots of times this year. Okay, so that's one. Yemen, that's another, so that's 2. Definitely Iran, that's 3. Let's see. Did he bomb? I think he did authorize some strikes against Syria in guise of fighting ISIS, you know, but they just don't call it that, you know, but, you know, helping the government, right? You know, just say that they're going after ISIS terrorists, right? Because they lie to you and they say, oh, well, we're going after ISIS when, in fact, they're supporting ISIS. Yeah, that's what they always say, right? Oh, you know, we're going after ISIS cells, you know, broken down ISIS cells. When really, truly, they're just... They claim to be fighting a war on ISIS, right? The war on terror. But the war just goes on and it never ends. You know, it's a song that never ends. Because Esau's rhetoric never stops. But, you know, he's declaring peace. Peace in the Middle East, right? So, like everything else, though, while that's going on, remember, there's a government shutdown over here as it entered its 3rd week. Music to our ears, man. Watching this babbling fool and those that believe in him go down with it. You know, they won't accept that Trump has failed them. Trump has failed you.
And uncertainty is growing by the day for federal workers, with the government shutdown now in day 15. We do have a live look at the Capitol this morning, where later today the Senate is set to vote for a 9th time on bills to reopen the government. Federal programs and paychecks hanging in the balance as the stalemate drags on between Democrats and Republicans. News Nation's Tom Dempsey is live at the White House this morning. So, Tom, good morning to you. What is the president threatening now if the deal isn't signed, sealed, and delivered by the end of the week?
Dance
yeah, hey, Kelly, good morning from the White House. Here at the White House, President Donald Trump has warned that if no deal comes by this Friday on the government shutdown, he'll release a list of closings for what he calls Democrat programs. Of course, this all comes after the Senate failed for an 8th time to pass a measure to end the government shutdown. In an exclusive interview with News Nation, Secretary John Thune said conversations on health care can happen after the government reopens.
Obamacare. I thought he repealed that.
I think there is a willingness.
Fools you, didn't
I think
he?
there are a lot of members up here on our side
You're talking
as well
to
as
a
on the Democrat
machine.
side who want to have that conversation about what we can do to make healthcare more affordable and more accessible. But
Yeah, the Affordable
Don't take the
Healthcare
federal
Act.
government hostage.
There has to be a willingness amongst Republicans to actually have a conversation. And since the White House meeting over 2 weeks ago, Republicans have gone radio silent.
And Kelly, we do expect later today that 9th round of voting on whether or not to end the government shutdown. As of now, all signs point to that failing yet again. Kelly?
Yeah. And Tom, this is also a big time of uncertainty for military families. What's the very latest with this paycheck back and forth?
Yeah, so there's obviously a political side to this government shutdown, and yet there's also a very human and real side to all of this. We do know that active duty military members will be receiving their paychecks this week, starting today. They will be covered by Pentagon funding, redirected from research and development within the War Department. But to dive deeper into this, Kelly, because of the shutdown, more military families in need turn to food pantries like Feeding San Diego, like you see right here, which are already in high demand due to inflation. News Nation recently spoke with spouses of active duty service members in California about all this uncertainty.
I am glad that we're hearing we're going to get a paycheck this week, but I do worry about the future and what that means.
A little stressful, not knowing like if we can afford diapers or just groceries in general, especially with 2 young kids. So trying to do the best we can.
The White House team also says that things like tariff revenue will be used to pay for WIC, which is the Supplemental Nutritional Program for women, infant, and children. But Kelly, this government shutdown bringing some very real-life impacts to families across the country.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.
Yeah, I can tell it's unbiased, right? Anyhow, that's what's going on with the shutdown, right? But he's telling you that there's peace, man, that he's got this peace deal. While threatening Palestine, because let's face it, Hamas and Palestine, Hamas was actually a governorate set up by the Israeli state, right? It's Israeli governorate, which Hamas works for the Israeli state, so it doesn't make any sense, right? But they want everybody else to believe that it's this terror group called Hamas that has everything to do with it, right? Hamas, to disarm or we will disarm them. President Trump. U.S. President's statement follows major prisoner swap under a ceasefire deal between military group and the Israeli state. Hamas must disarm or be disarmed by force, U.S. President Trump said, adding that he communicated and demanded that the military group. On Monday, Hamas freed the so-called hostages held in Gaza. A deal brokered by U.S., Qatar, and Turkey. Trump made the remarks Tuesday while hosting Argentine president at the White House. If they don't disarm, we will disarm them. It'll quickly happen and perhaps violently, but they will disarm. Trump responded to reporters' question. So, like everything else, his 20-point peace plan, which is really a war plan, because that's what it's about, because there are boots on the ground in the Israeli state, U.S. boots on the ground in the Israeli state to help the IDF destroy and kill them all. Kill every last fucking one of them. Just like Negan said, I would have killed every last fucking one of you. Well, that's exactly what Netanyahu and Trump is going to do. Israeli state limits aid to devastated Gaza as Trump issue news warnings to Hamas. Israeli tank opened fire in Gaza City as Israeli state restricted aid into the strip, citing the slow release of captive bodies. Yeah, this is a real good peace plan, Open fire. Kill every fucking last one of them. Make sure none remain. Israeli state said Wednesday it's restricting emergency aid from being allowed into Gaza due to the slow release of captive bodies, as U.S. President Trump issued stark new warning to Hamas. You already know what that warning is. So like everything else, though, this was never about a hostage exchange. It's about killing every last fucking one of them. Israeli terrorists commit mass arson in Gaza City after ceasefire. This is a very good fucking ceasefire. Burn it all. Kill every last fucking one of them. Soldiers bragged on social media as they set fire to residential buildings and food stores. Yep. Kill every last fucking one of them. That's the kind of peace deal you're going to get from the Israeli state, and definitely from Babylon. Israeli terrorists carried out a deliberate campaign of arson across Gaza City immediately after the ceasefire was declared. According to the investigation, soldiers from Golani, Givati, Nahah, Kifar, and newly created ultra-Orthodox brigades set fire to homes, shops, and infrastructure on the 9th and 10th as they retreated from the city. So, like everything else, so yeah, you can definitely tell there's peace over there. He's declaring peace. There's nothing but war, war, war. Because this is a war president. Israeli state to resume Gaza onslaught once all captives are repatriated. Threatens war minister. And you already knew that. You already knew that. That they're just playing the game, even though they're still setting fire to everything, right? They're playing the game. Oh yeah, there's peace over there. They're playing the game. You know? Because of course, the U.S. media ain't even fucking reporting this shit. Israeli Minister of Military Affairs Katz declared the occupation army will resume its military onslaught against the besieged strip of Gaza once the remaining captives are returned, marking an open defiance of the newly agreed ceasefire. In a post on social media platform, Katz said that once the first phase of the deal is ended with the release of all captives, the Israeli terrorists will resume its offensive to destroy Palestine. Israel's great challenge after the phase of returning captives will be the destruction of all of Gaza, directly by the army and through the international mechanism to be established under the dictatorship and supervision of the U.S., he added. This is the primarily significance of implementing the agreed-upon principle of demilitarizing Gaza, and of course, wiping them out. I've instructed the Israeli terrorists to prepare for carrying out the mission, Katz said. So, that's what they said in Hebrew. The stuff you're not supposed to hear because it's in a different language. And that's what they're telling their people. Iranian strike hit secret Israeli-U.S. military bunker beneath Tel Aviv Tower. So this is most likely talking about when, that war happened. Investigation by the Gray Zone revealed that Iran's June 13th missile strike against Tel Aviv directly hit the secret underground military command center jointly operated by the Israeli state and the U.S., buried beneath a luxury apartment complex in the heart of the city. The facility reportedly serves as a command and control node for the Israeli military intelligence, with the U.S. Army engineers having overseen its construction over decades. When Iranian missiles struck multiple locations across North Tel Aviv in June, Israeli authorities immediately sealed off the impact zone and prevented journalists from filming. Well, yeah, they didn't want to show how weak they were. But like everything else, though, Iran was taking out target after target. They were making precise attacks. They weren't letting you know how badly that the Israeli state and the U.S. and their so-called Iron Dome was actually failing them. But, they ain't letting you know that Trump is even failing you now. I mean, the government's shut down. There's definitely, your work is being replaced by AI anyways. I mean, there's no mirth. There's no mirth to be found in Babylon, but it's still like a fucking retard. You think that everything's fucking great. You think that, Trump is doing all these great things. Who to do great things, right? Everybody took that juicy juice, when he said about all these great things that he's going to do. And a lot of people are fucking dead after taking that. Or just real fucked up after taking that, right? But hey, don't say that we didn't warn you. Don't say that we didn't tell you not to take it, right? Don't take the jab. Don't take the mark of the beast. Well, we warned you of all these things, right? And we tell you time and time again, the mark of the beast will commence. And like everything else, though, the least of the flock shall draw everyone in. Inevitably, World War III will commence because This is the Most High's playbook. No, you don't control your own destiny. The Most High controls destiny. He is destiny. He has destined Esau for his destruction. He has destined the elect Israelites for the rebuilding of the Israelites. It's destiny. He is destiny. And like everything else, you find your place, and you will find your place. You know, like everything else, you'll find out if you were those that opposed him, or if you were those that were his elect. Better get right now if you're part of that elect, because it is happening in real time. You know, and if you have eyes to see, and this is all making sense to you, then you are part of that elect that was meant to see it. Most people, they're not meant to get it. They're not meant to see it. Because you're watching now in real time. Joel chapter 3 verse 2, I will gather all the Gentile nations that were hostile to my people. Everybody was hostile to the people of Israel. And I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. The Most High has judged, you know. This is a pre-judgment, and he's bringing them down there. And there I will deal with them and enter into judgment with them there. Well, where is this valley of Jehoshaphat, right? Hey, most people can't answer that, but we can answer that. That's right there in the heart of Syria and Iraq. It's right there where the great river Euphrates is, in the heart of that land. Well, is that not recently been overthrown? Has that not recently been handed over to terrorist groups, to where Syria really doesn't even exist as a nation? Think about it. For their treatment of my people and my inheritance, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations, and because they have encroached on my land and divided it up. And who's done that? Esau, and all the, Esau, especially Amalek. They have also cast lots for my people, and have traded a boy for a prostitute, and have sold a girl for a wine that they might drink. You know, and that's what they did. You know. Because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried my precious treasures to your temples and your palaces, and have sold the children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem to the Greeks, so that you may send them far away from their territory, which is what happened. Because like everything else, when we did flee into the mountains, we were in the land of Judah, which was right there in Africa. There was a land called Judah that was right there, because we were told to flee into the mountains, which we did. But then Esau gathered us up from there. And you have sold the children of Judah, the children of Jerusalem, unto the Greeks. The Greeks is another term for Esau. So that you may send them far away from their territory. Behold, I am going to stir them up from the place where you have sold them. Meaning that he's going to wake them up and return them to their land. And that's going to happen. First we come back as a people, and then he personally returns us. And I shall return your action of retaliation on your own head. He's going to deal with them by way of war. You want to know where the real Department of War is? It's Yahushua. He's going to send Yahushua and the angels to deal with Esau personally. And he will destroy all of them, including Magog. Proclaim this among the pagan nations. Prepare a war, stir up the mighty men. Let all the men of war come near, let them come up. See, like everything else though, Vladimir Putin, well, he plays his part as a tactician as well. But the ultimate tactician is Yahushua and the angels themselves, and they're stirring them up. It is Yahweh himself that controls all destiny. These people are not in control. You know, just as the brother put it earlier. Beat your plowshares into swords and pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I'm strong. Arm them, you know. Be a guard unto them. That's what he's saying. He's saying, look, man, you're getting ready for war. You're preparing to fight against the Israeli state and the U.S. Hurry and come, all you surrounding nations, and gather yourselves there. Bring down, O Lord, your almighty ones, your warriors. You know, in other words, they're ready. It's a fight to the finish. Let all the nations be stirred to action, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there I will sit to judge and punish all the surrounding nations. It's going to be a bloodbath right there, you know, starting in Syria, Damascus, you know. Put in the sickle of judgment, for the harvest is ripe. come tread the grapes, for the winepress is full, the vats overflow, for the wickedness of the people is great. So it begins right there, which triggers Babylon the Great and the rest of the world to be judged by Yahushua and the angels. And the nuclear weapons being fired, starting with Damascus and Babylon the Great being wiped out. Multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord, Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushua, is in the valley of decision when judgment is executed. The sun and the moon grow dark and the stars lose their shining. That's by way of those nuclear missiles heading. So, World War III is inevitable. That is the judgment for taking the mark of the beast, is to be caught up in World War III. And we could see that, when they shall say peace is safety, then come the sudden destruction. We already know Amalek is going to break that. They haven't kept anything at all since their existence. So, I'm going to end it with this video here. The times of Ezra 12:25, or Ezekiel 12:25, is coming alive again. Shalom.
Shalom to the hopeful elected nation of Israel. Let's give honor, praise, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushua, Ba'Hashem, Machach, Ba'Hashem. Double honors and my shalom to the teachers and preachers of great millstone that will want teach while strength from the head apostles on down to the elders that give us 100% truth of the scriptures. It's like 100% truth of the scriptures, even the repentance by our Lord Hamashiach Yahushua, whom we openly declare is the repentance, the man whose blood sacrifice went on the cross, that the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel can repent in this time by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. It's log again, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. Knowing this captivity, you got to keep us the laws of the white man, who is the nation of Edom, the wicked in the scriptures, and we, rising up in our captivity in the spirit, to the realization we're the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, and that our power is the Most High, the Creator, and His Son, the Lord, the Father Power Yahweh, being the Most High's name, the Father Power, who dwells from everlasting, who's above all, the Lord Yahushua, the Son of the Creator, whom we openly declare communion back with the Creator, is only open to the nation of Israel, the people the law, statutes, and commandments were given to, who came away from the law, statutes, commandments, who need to be redeemed to the Father Power through the blood of the Lord Yahushua. Ultimately, all of Israel will be redeemed, but in this time, that one-third remnant, the hopeful elect, are coming back through the teachings and preachings through the righteous men of Great Millstone, in this time, who have the true truth. And they're like affiliates that have the 100% gospel that they had delivered unto redelivery, right? As we are the hopeful elect, we are singing out the change of the age, right? And we're saying all the terrible things in the scriptures, well, they're happening in this time. The change of the age, much like other changes of the age that happen in the scriptures, like from the Neo-Babylonian Empire to the Persian Mede Empire and the Persian Mede Empire into the Greek Empire, there was violent change, right? War and overthrow. We're in those times right now, right? Which is why we're seeing political and civil unrest, the suspension of the constitutional rights or whatever. They're privileges, guys. Bottom line, you gotta follow what this man's kingdom says, right? And we're not teaching to diverge from what this man says until what this man says is put a chip under your skin. That is when you can diverge from it. But by and large, as it says in Romans, we have to keep this, the ordinances of the power are of the power, right? Obviously, the dietary laws, the ones that diverge from the biblical laws, you can obviously diverge to the best of your ability, right? They say, you all have to eat pork on pain of whatever. Well, guess what? You got to take pain of whatever if you're faithful. Just like the men in our nation did in before fashion. You have to think about what that is for you, faith-wise. And if I were you, I'd read the scriptures on that, right? During the Greek Empire, where in the Maccabees, they were forced to do this or that, or convert to the Greek and polytheistic ideologies, not keep a book of the law, not be able to keep a testimony or the testament, it's like you, the book of the law, the testament, or anything, or have their self-circumcised, any of that stuff, on pain of death, right? Well, we're having something similar kind of happen. We either take this thing under our skin, or it's on pain of death, right? AKA the RFID implant. That is when you diverge from this man's laws. But by and large, they're going to remove rights and freedoms across the board. We are not going to uprise. Israelites, our uprising is in the spirit, through the Ruach HaKodesh of teaching and preaching the coming of the Lord Yahushua, peace and mercy through Him onto a kingdom to come, and that these heathen are going to bring themselves to a battle royale at the behest of the Most High Yahweh, the Lord of Sabaoth, the Lord of armies, right? Who mustereth the host of the battle, who has a date with judgment with all these heathen, and we know that. It says in the scriptures multiple times. All the prophets got to see it. We're saying in this time is the time where all those things happen. The confirmation and fulfillment of all the end-time prophecies onto the fulfillment of the invasion force of the Lord Yahushua and the angels, right? Which will be, the moment they give this thing mandatory, the implant, is going to happen very shortly after that. So, real quick, we're in these times, right? The secession of services and rights of all kinds. And they want to do this so that people will revolt. Don't revolt, guys. This is the authoritarian crackdown is planned for the revolt. And the revolt is going to be exacerbated by draconian measures, right? Woe to him who decrees unrighteous decrees, right? The right grievousness which they prescribe, right? Ultimately, it's going to cause a lot of people to get poor, lose jobs, and the rich are just going to continue to be rich. And it's going to cause people to look at that disparagement and want to solve it, right? Bottom line, we're going to, like Klaus Schwab said, much more agitated, angry world times, right? Roughly paraphrasing. I'm going to run this brother GMS Inspiration of the Almighty. Lovely brothers from California, LA area. Check their videos out. Great edification, great camp. I want to point this out on the right. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, what is that proverb they have in the land of Israel, saying, just in the time before, the Israelites abused the prophets, just as it says in 2 Chronicles, until judgment rose up against the people and there was no remedy. The intercession between you and the Most High is the warning that comes from his mouthpiece, the prophets, preachers, and teachers. Son of man, what is this proverb that you had in the land of Israel, saying that the days are prolonged and every vision faileth? Saying, oh, the prophets are talking, but none of this stuff is true, it's not happening. Tell them, therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahushua power, I will make this proverb to cease, that they shall no more use it as a proverb in Israel, but say to them, the days are at hand, and the effect of every vision. For there shall be no more any vain vision or flattering divination within the house of Israel. For I am the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. I will speak, and the word that I shall speak shall come to pass, and it shall no more be prolonged, for in your days, O rebellious house, will I say the word and perform it, saith the Lord power, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, right? Meaning the prophecies, right? Again, the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, behold, the house of Israel said, the vision that he seeth is for many days to come, like the mark, martial law, all that stuff. Now we're seeing those things manifest, right? The digital infrastructure, the digital euro. You can't even go into Europe or these other countries without being on their digital ID biometric fingerprint system and iris scan system. So an eye scan and a fingerprint scan, where you can't be a part of travel throughout Europe, right? Wild. And we know through Richard Warner and the Bank of England that the plan, the stretch goal is implant. Everybody. The whole financial system, the central bank system, that's the plan. Right? That's what we're going toward. The secession of your rights to be able to, they're going to corner us. They want you to be a susceptible victim. They don't want you to have any rights to fight back with, so they're going to remove them. Well, now you just have to take what we say, right? We're going to remove your jobs, your access to money, and your only way back to it is through an implant. That's the next thing, right? They're going to corner us, right? That's the plan. The time to stand and the hill to die on is the implant. Because we're ready. If they want to take our life because we're not going to take the implant, then we just have to go. It is what it is. If the Lord gives us spiritual power to raise the standard, then we're not going. We're going to have a different paradigm altogether. Because us fishers are going to be maybe hunters, hopefully. We're just humble. We just hope the Lord power saves our monkey ass and scuttles us away from all this crazy ass shit while it goes on. I don't want to be the number one guy. I just want to be the safest. Anyways, back at the topic. Slacking y'all. I'm digressing. So, Son of man, behold, they of the house of Israel say the vision that he sees is for many days to come, and he prophesied of times that are far off. Therefore say unto them, thus saith the Lord Yahushua power, there shall none of my words be prolonged any more, but the word which I have spoken shall be done. Thus saith the Lord Yahushua power. Right? Hey, these people are cracking down with great authority. Here's this little video. Your rights. Watch this. Just like George Bush said, quit bringing up the Constitution. It's just a piece of paper. Right?
Trump has signed an executive order claiming that only the president can speak for what the law is. This is not how the Constitution works, but this is the view of the Trump administration. And who's going to stop them? That's my...
And what do you think Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of people, one of your allies say hate speech is free speech. They probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. We've made it 1 year penalty for inciting riots. We took the freedom of speech away because that's been through the courts, and the court said you have freedom of speech. But what has happened is when they burn. You're going to see things that you've never seen in this country before. At levels that nobody's ever seen before. So we've done numbers that nobody's ever seen before. We have money coming in that we've never even thought about. At numbers that nobody's ever seen before. But when you burn the American flag, it incites riots. At levels that we've never seen before. Foreign nations are now paying hundreds of billions of dollars straight into our treasury. And numbers that nobody's ever seen before.
You had talked a couple weeks ago, you were doing an interview, and you talked about how you hope to end the war in Ukraine because it might help you get into heaven. How does this help? Does this help?
I mean, I'm being a little cute. I don't think there's anything going to get me in heaven. Okay, I think I'm not maybe heaven bound. I may be in heaven right now as we fly an Air Force One. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to make heaven, but
Exactly 2 weeks into this government shutdown and no end in sight. Even top Republicans like Speaker of the House Mike Johnson warning that the government could be in for one of the longest shutdowns in its history. The record is 35 days set during the first Trump administration. And now more than 750,000 furloughed federal workers plus essential staff like TSA agents and air traffic controllers already feeling the pain, receiving their last paycheck until the government reopens.
Mike Johnson stood on the steps of the Capitol today, 13 days into the government shutdown, and said that this is likely to surpass the 35-day government shutdown during the last Republican-led Congress and Trump administration. That was the longest shutdown in the history of the United States. And Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, who has failed to negotiate with Democrats, says this one will likely be longer.
No peace, no paycheck, no peace, no paycheck, no peace.
we want defense, but we want offense too, if that's okay. So you'll make a decision. But as Department of War, we won everything. We won everything. And I think we're going to have to go back to that. In the meantime, I've stopped all of these wars. I've stopped them. The big one would have been India and Pakistan. But we stopped them all. We stopped 3 wars. Go to Africa. They like to say, I love black people. And I did great with the vote with the black people.
So are we headed towards You were heading towards, first they're going to claim martial law. They're going to do the Insurrection Act because he's already using the word insurrection. They're going to send the National Guard in. They're going to say there's an insurrection. Then they're going to federalize the National Guard. Then they're going to federalize and send the military into all of the democratic places. And it's there you have your dictatorship. That's
context. Very briefly before we get discussing some of the issues. Why is there a shutdown? For the first time that anyone can remember, what the Republicans are saying, we're not talking. It's our way or the highway. Take it or leave it. That's it. No discussion. And one of the key issues out there, what they don't want to talk about, is that if we were to just tomorrow go along with the Republican proposal, this is what happens to you. 15 million of you are going to lose your health insurance. Tens of thousands will die because they can't get to a doctor, can't afford prescription drugs. That's not all. Under what the Republicans are pushing, over 20 million people will see their health insurance premiums double. Yeah, you heard that right. Double.
As you all know, Chicago's a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. As you mind about Chicago, though? Well, we're going in. I didn't say when. We're going in. When you lose, look, I have an obligation. This isn't a political thing. I have an obligation. If the governor of Illinois would call me up, I would love to do it. Now, we're going to do it anyway. We have the right to do it because I have an obligation to protect this country. And that includes Baltimore. I saw where Governor Moore was asking me to take a walk down the street of Baltimore. Well, Baltimore is a very unsafe place. It's rated number 4 in the city, one of the most unsafe places anywhere in the world.
And here we are. Here's the family picture, which all these leaders have traveled around the world to be part of.
Ready for that group shot there. I want to bring in our political contributor, Mary Jordan. Mary, just thinking about how much we've heard over the course of the day about what this day will mean in history. What's your reaction just seeing this photo assemble, Peace 2025, with all these world leaders lining up beside Donald Trump?
Donald Trump is the greatest friend that the state of Israel has ever had in the White House.
I have an idea. Mr. President, why don't you give him a pardon? Give him a pardon. Come on. see, now you can be a little bit nicer, Bibi, because you're not at war anymore, Bibi. So this long and difficult war has now ended. You know, some people say 3,000 years, some people say 500 years, whatever it is. It's the granddaddy of them all. And in an unprecedented achievement, virtually the entire region has endorsed the plan that Gaza will be immediately demilitarized, that Hamas will be disarmed. And America's momentum is back. Our confidence is back. To my fellow citizens, America is back. Because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. And the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. And we are just getting started.
Unprecedented times, y'all. And I'll get everything the body in the spirit of yeah, how about Hashem Yahushua is due to rat call? Well, Hashem Yahushua, it's coming. Crackdown, all this stuff. Woe unto whom a decree unrighteous decrees, right? Draconian measures are coming, y'all. Call Allah Hashem Yahushua until next lesson. Stay circumspect. Stay out of uprisings, any stuff that doesn't have the will of the Lord power Hashem Yahushua on it. Isn't your regular job, or you don't need to be a part of it, y'all. Be careful what you get involved in and where you're at. Just being aware of where those things go down and not be around them if possible. Oh, long Hashem Yahushua until /Shalom. May get everything dividing the spirit to stay worthy before Him, who is the Lord our Lord, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua.